Brave Maker Show is hosted by Tony Gaffestone and Christina Jackson. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, it's showtime, everybody. Welcome to the Brave Maker Live. I'm Tony Gaffestone. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a Caucasian dude with some scruff on my face and brown hair and some glasses in my studio. This is Brave Maker in the back, and I am doing this from Redwood City, California, which is where I am headquartered, and I get to do my work as a filmmaker, a screenwriter, and director. And I'm always joined by my friend and collaborator, my muse at times, Christina Rae Jackson. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you, Tony. Hey, I'm Christina Rae Jackson. My pronouns are he, she, they. I'm queer and coming to you from Dublin, California, which is about 30 minutes east of San Francisco. And I'm an African-American woman with some wild curly hair today, rocking the Spider-Man costume and the gold star chain. Today's cosplay mashup is Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas and Spider-Man. And I'm sitting in my favorite power chair by Will. It's the Will Model C. And did I miss anything? I'm African American. Did I add that? And I got some cool stitches on my face today. Thank you, Robin Jackson. Shout out to my makeup artist.
I got some stitches. Snitches get stitches, everybody. Don't be snitching. Go to hashtag KRae cosplay for more of Christina's amazing work. We always start our show with this question because we need it for ourselves. Brave Maker Show is all about how we ourselves are learning and making and doing along the way. But we want you to also to contribute to this if you want in the comments and the questions on our social media. How are you braving your way toward your creative goals? It takes one thing at a time. So what are you doing? Christina, how's this week been?
It's been so wonderful. What a great creative week. I shared the latest episode of my series Under the Tracks. Episode 5 is up now on YouTube, so definitely check that out. You could jump on YouTube and search Under the Tracks, Christina Jackson. My mom affectionately calls it Under the Bridge. I hope that's no indication to how she feels about
it's like kind of like episodes, a troll, like a troll under the bridge or something.
That's what I was like, Mom, it's not, it's Under the Tracks, okay, because it started at the Amtrak station in Berkeley. And she's like, yeah, I got it.
She's
but she still
shade.
Calls it Under the Bridge.
Mama's throwing some shade.
She is. I think there is a little shade in there,
That's
right?
Okay. That's
right?
Okay. That's all good. You got it.
It's all good.
As performers, we are used to that. Bring it on.
We are. You got to throw up your stuff.
Shoot.
And take the shade with the love and keep it rolling. That's what I say. What about you, Tony? How have you braved your way this
shade,
week?
Yeah, I'm preparing for 2022 in a really intentional way. I'm crafting this new motto when it comes to my creative collaborators. And I told this to Christina already. It's like, I'm not going to chase people down and beg people to collaborate. I will chase the money down. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm chasing donors and financiers down, calling, texting, having meetings. I will carrier pigeon you to however long I have to, but I'm not going to beg somebody to partner up with me creatively. I give them two chances. I invite people in like, hey, I see something in you. I think you'd be great for this project, whether it's a DP or whether it's a actor or whatever. One more time. If I don't hear back from them, I'm like, hey, are you still interested in this project? I got a junior editor assistant role for this one, or I got a potential co-producer, like come learn the ropes. But I can't chase people down anymore. So I decided my motto is I'm not chasing down creative collaborators anymore. I'll put the invitation out there. I'll make a personal invitation. But after 2 times, it's like, done. I had to have a real hard talk with someone this week that's just like, all right, cool. It's not going to work out. If you're too busy, that's fine. But we're moving forward with our next feature film 6 months from now. And we're looking to build this crew. Are you in or are you out? So that feels good, but it also feels hard because I like the warmth. I'm like the warm, fuzzy director. But I'm trying to learn to get better at having those hard conversations because, it's an art, it's a craft, but it's also a business. And we want to do good business. So that's how I'm braving my way. So
I think that's a beautiful move to make. Very empowering. Very empowering, Tony.
Cool. Well, you can tweet us. You can find us on social media on all the places at bravemaker.org. Please let us know if you are dealing with any of these things, learning. Maybe we can also learn from you. You can find me at Tony Gaffestone or tonygap.com and Christina at Christina Rae Jackson. And her hashtag is hashtag KRae cosplay. But let's get to our special guest today. It's the holiday season. So I'm not.
Hey,
it's time to get in that spirit with 2 filmmakers. an actor, writer, and director, producer who made a holiday thing that we want you to support. And let's bring in our special guests and have them introduce themselves. Let's do it. Let's start.
Welcome.
Yeah. Let's start with you, Faz. Go for it.
Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Fahzia Mirza, and I am wearing green glasses, and I have silver, gray, and black salt and pepper, if you will, hair. I'm sitting in front of a bookshelf with lots of books and some cats and a clock and there's a carom board right back here on the side, which is, it's on the other side. It's right back there. And I'm wearing a gray shirt. I am a writer and director. I'm Pakistani and queer. And I feel like that's a good, and Muslim. That's not necessarily always a visual thing, but, just sharing that back anyway. And I feel like that's a great segue to Kausar.
Yeah, I'll take it away. A lot of the shared identities with Faz, including being Pakistani, Muslim, and queer. So Kausar Mohammed, she, her, coming to you from LA, Tongvaland, but originally from the Bay. So love to see the Bay representation. I'm wearing a white shirt with gold jewelry, a necklace, denim jacket in front of a color-coded bookshelf. And so happy to be talking to y'all today.
So cool that you're joining us. We're going to jump right in with your origin stories, and we're going to start with Faz. And Faz, I just want to clarify, the cats, they're not real cats. I think for listeners, I just want to say they're not real cats. It's a cat on the shelf, and it's stunning. wait, I think there's one coming in the room.
Sorry,
She really played down the hair. She's got like superhero hair. Real talk. Like, it's amazing. So let's jump in with Faz. Tell us your origin story. Where were you born and raised? And how has your journey landed you in front, behind the camera, writing? Let's talk about it.
I mean, first of all, thank you for clarifying the cat situation. It's true. They're just cats on a shelf. Instead of the elf on a shelf, it's a cat on a shelf. My origin story is circuitous, as many are. I was, I didn't study theater or go to film school or anything like that. I actually had an English political science degree, and I went to law school. My family's, was fairly conservative Muslim and wanted me to get an education and do all the things that would help me have a bright future and a job and get married. They also wanted me to get married to a man. It was in law school that I actually took a class called trial advocacy, which is essentially learning the rules of evidence in a courtroom and learning about opening and closing arguments. And I loved it. And I realized that's not really as much lawyering as it is acting. And so I took an acting class and loved that. And, I had done some, I learned the power of comedy when I was like the only brown Muslim kid growing up in all white Sydney, Nova Scotia, Canada on the East Coast when I was like 5. And I was like, oh, people will laugh with you. That's better than at you. Cool. That's how you survive, being the, person who's kind of different. And it was actually in, I did take some acting. I did some plays, and I was in the band, and I did speech team and all that kind of stuff. But I just was never going to pursue it as a career. But it was after I took that acting class in law school that I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Maybe I learned and decided that a little late, but so I took the bar exam and I passed, thank God. And then I decided to, be an actor, whatever that means. So I auditioned, I got headshots, and realized also that I needed a job because my loans were running out. And so I got a job as a lawyer. It was at this spin-off firm. So I was a civil defense litigator, and really kind of entire time I was lawyering, I was learning and taking classes and acting. So I was taking improv and comedy classes at night, lawyering by day. So that was the closest to superhero I've ever gotten. I don't even know if that really qualifies, but, and then, all of that, I was a lawyer for like 3 years and then left that to do sexual violence prevention work through performance at colleges and universities and military installations around the country and globally. And really after that, I got into writing, because when I would go in for auditions, there were no roles for, any of my identities, much like all of them, much less one of them, that really felt like they felt authentic. And so I started writing and casting myself and my friends. And recently, in the last 2 years, I've transitioned from being an actor writer to a writer director. And, in that time is when this beautiful collaboration with Kausar was born.
Let's do you, Kausar. How about you? Share. You've got a great
Yeah.
follow-up there in partnership, how your life intersected with Fahzia.
Absolutely. And as Foz said, the transition to a damn good director and writer, and so grateful that our paths have intersected along the way. My origin story, I had started doing theater growing up, sort of like it was one of the available extracurriculars when I was like in middle school and high school, because I was not athletic at all. So it was the option. And so kind of did it that way, was involved with the local TV station growing up called India Waves that we would like do hosting. And I just loved being goofy and having fun. That was my draw to it. And when I went to college, as many South Asians do, I was like, I got to go the traditional path. I got to find a stable job. So then I started studying other stuff, thought I could get rid of the theater in me. But sure enough, got sucked back into my college's sketch theater program. And to me, discovering what sketch was, what sketch comedy was huge, because I realized it was what I'd been doing my entire life, but now it had a name to it. And in that way, it was so fun, and just really got to, my college program had a pretty intensive sketch group, so just got in real deep, and then decided I couldn't stop. So then I graduated school, but still wasn't sure about my ability to keep continuing something with acting. So I was also working part-time at a nonprofit, and I also didn't want to give up that part of me. I was an after-school program. And in school, I'd studied international development and communications, so I wanted to keep that going. But then there sort of came a tipping point where it felt right to I had to leap into the acting, and I did. Voiceover work really helped maintain the transition into the creative life. And then from there, found really lovely people to collaborate with, whether it was people to write with or a sketch comedy team. And then ultimately, one of the most beautiful collaborations that came out of looking people to work with was Faz. And from there, we started working on SYED Family Gets Christmas Eve game night together. And then here we are.
I love this. I love how serious you both take being silly. I think that really resonates with Tony and I. And I want to go back to Faz. Can you talk to us a little bit about your discovery of how you could use comedy, the power of using comedy to tackle really divisive issues?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, kind of, as I mentioned, that humor and comedy it helped me find a way to be laughed with versus laughed at, like in a really personal, individual way, but not really kind of seeing its global, the scope of it. It could have at a macro level, and the impact comedy could have. And it was doing this sexual violence prevention show called Sex Signals, which was, I didn't write it. I was hired to do the show. It was a 2-person show, and really it was, I'd say like, 2/3 comedy and 1/3 really serious conversation, but it was about sexual assault prevention. And what I saw through that experience was, whether we were at a community college in Kansas, at an Ivy League school, at a military installation in Korea, like the rape culture that we were all indoctrinated into was the same. And the capacity to have a conversation about sexual violence prevention was very different when we were able to create a conversation, start a conversation through laughing with the audience and creating kind of a safe space that way, to then have this really much harder conversation that some folks had never, quite frankly, had before, much less in a public space around a group of their peers and strangers like us. And that's when I knew, I was like, okay, this is beyond just me, surviving. There's so much more in this for all of us to have a way to survive and have these kinds of conversations. And it really, really, quite frankly, it changed my life. I just never looked at comedy the same way again. In a good way.
That's beautiful. And it's not a very light conversation, but we've never talked about rape culture on the show before. So what do you want to say to people who are not familiar, but like you said, we've all been indoctrinated into this culture? What can we be aware of?
Well, I have to say that when I started, I had to get trained myself to perform this program. And, we were actors, but really we were trainers and educators. And I guess I started doing this. I did it for 9 years and started in 2006, fall 2006. Did it for 9 years. But I realized that I had so much of my own blocks internally. And I hadn't realized myself that I could say no. I mean, it sounds so basic, but that I didn't put myself in a bad situation. Nobody asks to have something bad happen to them. People do bad things to other people. Rape doesn't just happen. It is a violent act committed against another person, and usually by somebody they know, unfortunately. And so, those stereotypes of alleys and all of those scary places, of course, crimes are perpetrated there as well. But oftentimes it's by people that we know, and it's one of the most underreported crimes, and doesn't get talked about because, it's only in the last few years that we're even talking about healthy consensual relationships. So I mean, there's a lot. And I'd say one of the biggest things where it's like, well, what can we do about it? Well, what you can do is if something looks kind of, you're in a bar and somebody looks like they're not comfortable, that's not your imagination. They probably aren't. And so you can go in and say something or stop it, or, check in on the person or give that person an out. And, that's just being a good person, a good bystander, and could prevent something bad from being done to that person, at least in that moment.
Thank you so much for just sharing that. And I think it is a pivotal moment, for us on the show to remind us that we are in a very fragile and vulnerable space as a people, 2021, that we have the ability to use our creativity to be able to speak into this and do some major change. And I often hear people say, well, we're not curing cancer. We're not doing these things with the art. And it's very true. But at the same time, our media, our stories are powerful. And we really believe our whole tagline is brave stories can change the world. They can change people's perspectives. They can create empathy. They can save lives in a different way than some of our other partners in the world who are essential workers and doing great work. So thank you for that. That's really, really important. Small little thing is a father. I have 3 daughters. And I'm a very touchy person. I like, that's my love language. I like to touch and hug and, see people. So being in the pandemic was a challenge for me. But with my daughters, in their 3 unique own personality, I was telling Kausar before we started, one of my daughters is super creative and she loves like just her iPad and she's always drawing and she's not super touchy. And I had to change the way I thought about like, oh my gosh, my daughter doesn't love me because she doesn't want to hug or she doesn't run to my arms as she does anymore. But she's got a different love language. And one small little thing, speaking of consent, this is going off the track here, but I think it is important, is I, as a father and parent human being, have had to learn to say to my daughters, can I give you a hug? Is it okay? I don't say, do I have your consent? But I'm giving them the power and the permission to say yes or no. And that was a big learning curve for me because I grew up going to Christmas gatherings. This is our segue here. And it'd be like, go hug your Aunt so-and-so, go hug Uncle George. And I'd be like, Uncle George smells. Why do I have to do it? And you're doing these things you don't want. And all of a sudden you're bred to think you have no agency over your body as a child that grows up into being an adult. So huge PSA, especially as the holidays come, for your own sake. You don't have to hug people you don't want to, especially in your family. Thank you, Faz, for bringing that to our attention.
You could say no. You could say no. Yeah, love that.
But we are saying yes to your film. So let's talk about it. Kausar, first of all, what was it? Did I miss? What's the intersection? How you two actually met each other? Did you work on a project? And then how did this film come to be?
Yeah, so we had met because I think a mutual friend was like, "Oh, you're queer Muslim and Pakistani, and Faz is queer Muslim and Pakistani. Y'all have to meet." So we met, and sure enough, like a couple mezcals later, it was like, "Oh, this is a lovely friendship, budding friendship." And from there, Faz had me a part of her short, "I Know Her," which I acted in, and that was Faz. That was directorial debut. Was that? Yeah. And that was super, super fun. And then when it came to Saturday Family Christmas Eve game night, I'd written it, and there was no one else I wanted to direct it other than Faz, because just really loved working with her, and it was such a dream that she came on and was for it.
I love it. Okay, well, let's watch. It screened at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival. Pretty nice, pretty snazzy. So let's watch the trailer, which is a little under a minute, and then we're gonna get into that. So stand by, everybody. Let's check it out.
Okay, baby. Rules. 1, no PDA.
Make sure we
2,
got
help in the
sound on
kitchen.
those people.
And 3,
Stand by for technical difficulties. Let's see here. You all cannot hear it, or do you hear it? No, huh?
I hear it.
You heard it.
Okay, great. Let me just double check. So maybe my microphone is not working, but good. If you hear it, then awesome. Stand by. Awesome. Here we go. We'll also put this in the chat as well and put it in the show notes if you're listening on the audio replay.
okay. Rules. 1, no PDA. 2, help in the kitchen. And 3, no sexy skin.
We should put you on.
But really? You're right. Sorry, Appa's not even here. It's cool.
Welcome to the SYED Family Xmas Eve game night. Yay! Surprise! Y'all couldn't have game night without your big sister.
Merry Christmas! This is...
Are you white?
No.
What do you think to lose? I need your approval.
Are we gonna play games or what? I came here to win things.
I came here to win things. Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about where the film came from and how it all went down. Give us all the juicy details.
Yeah.
That's Kausar.
Well, it's I'm the baby of 3 sisters. So when you mentioned that you have 3 daughters as well, that's exciting. And yeah, they're my life, and also they're the people I'm scared of the most. So it was kind of inspired by real life when I was introducing my partner to one of my sisters for the first time, and my mind went on all the downward spiral nightmares of things that could go wrong. And some of the scenes from the shorts were a result of some of those nightmares. So that's kind of where it was born from, inspired by real life.
So you write the film, and then you say, okay, hey, I want you to direct it and talk about all of the, from start to finish, because we have a lot of our audience are filmmakers, people who are seeking to make things, and we like to learn and talk about the ins and the outs of making things from beginning to end. Give us some things you learned along the way. What were some of the obstacles you had to conquer? That's what makes us brave makers, is conquering those challenges. So what was that like for you?
Well, I guess, one of the things that I would say is that, Kausar approached me and was like, would you want to direct this? And what I really love as a collaborator, because I love collaboration, and what I really love is being able to kind of dig in and talk through like, okay, here's the script. Can we sort of workshop it? Can we talk through it? How can we, find even more story or jokes or character arcs, et cetera, et cetera. So what was so cool is Kausar was really excited by that and wanted that. And so I feel like that was a really essential part of the process, was getting to sit together virtually. I was in Toronto, she was in LA, over Zoom or like working on our own time and then sending stuff back. But like we got to work together before we did a table read, or maybe it was after, I actually can't remember now, but it was, for like a month and just kind of talk through things and workshops and things, which was awesome. And we did a table read, which is always, I think, really helpful at different stages of the process, not just, right before you're about to shoot it or right when you have your final cast, but you just hear things differently, even in a short film. And I think that really set us up for a really great working relationship. And also one of the things that was sort of an intention that was set early on was, while I was new to directing, I also didn't want to be a director who was like, this is my area. This is my job here. You stay over there. Like really wanting to decolonize the process of how directing can happen, or how you can work together with a writer actor and kind of do things in a way that felt good for us and our process and what we bring to the table. And so I feel like all of that was kind of set up really, really early. Like we didn't shoot till February, but this was all kind of happening by October, which I just think really kind of set the tone for the collaboration moving forward. And there's lots of other stuff, but Kausar, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
I think exactly that. Shout out to Fahz for creating such a collaborative environment where I think it trickled everywhere. And the power of our cast and crew too, and our hiring, we were just excited by people who wanted to collaborate and bring stuff to the tables. Whether it was our production designer, Jaren Del Carmen, or the DP, Patrick. And also, Fahz, I think your relationship between you and Patrick is also super interesting too, and how y'all brought forth the idea of keeping this comedic piece really cinematic, and I think that added so much to it too. And I think just super grateful for the time that we were able to workshop together, really dive into the characters and make them really strong, and just step in. And I think from that very beginning process to sometimes in post, or when we were looking at different things, it always felt continuously collaborative, even down to the work with our editor. So in that way, it was lovely to see sort of this mentality of like, all the minds the better.
Welcome to the SYED family exclusive game night.
Oh, we're hearing this, Tony.
Oh, you are? Oh, so sorry. I am having
sister.
issues, y'all. What's going on? What's going on?
The trailer is awesome.
That in my head?
Oh
is
my
that
gosh.
in my brain?
You probably can't get it out of your head because it's always going to be there. But it was a lot of fun to watch, and the colorist did a really fun job. Like I really loved the color of the piece, and the music. The music was so good too. So it makes me want to ask: do you have a Spotify or Apple playlist so people can listen to the music? Because that was really fun to listen to. Do you?
Yeah, we do.
Kausar curated that playlist. I'm sure. Should we drop it in the chat?
Drop it in the chat, or we'd
Definitely.
love. Yeah, that'd be a great way for us to promote and share it.
Like Fahz, I think both of us really wanted to make sure that we highlight South Asian artists. So every artist on in the short is a South Asian artist, and Fahz came in with these really fantastic and fun ideas of like after they have that like giant montage scene, and we come in and everyone's kind of like is laying the night, everybody's a little drunk. The Bollywood scene in the back, that was Fahz, and then we sort of just kept searching and looking, and I found this really fun curation of songs that we're really proud of, I think.
Can I ask? I was going to ask you, did you get, sorry, Christina, real quick on that. Did you get did you license all those songs? Did you have to get the contracts and do all that kind of stuff, or were they people that you knew? How did that all go down?
They're
Some of
definitely
them-
licensed. They're all, but Kausar is basically the music not basically. Kausar was the music supervisor, so she reached out to everybody herself and asked for their help to help a small little film.
Yep. Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
I was like pulling the community card, and community
Yeah.
came through.
Yep.
And it was also and for like one of the ones is like Urva Khan, who song plays when Big Sister walks in. That is a friend of Faz, and Faz has worked with them before. But there were some people who we didn't know, and the intro song is this artist named Ritviz, who's huge in India, and also from him to Priya Raghu, who was our credit song. One of the one that we're most also super love
So
that song,
good.
Chicken Lemon Rice. The intent was like, let's find a song that we want to dance to in credits. But
So good.
both of them are like huge artists, and even they
Mhm.
were down. And I
Yep.
think it just speaks to like really people coming through and wanting to collaborate and wanting
Yep.
this piece from all aspects, even the designers. Some of the designers we
Yep.
use, just like how can we use this as an element of showcasing as much South Asian talent as we can.
And I think like one of the things, like I know when creating something on your own, thinking about, well, whether it's on your own or whoever you're collaborating with, like, are you going to be using a composer? Are you using music that you're licensing? Is it a combination of both? It's, I think every project is really different. And I knew with this, we were on a tight budget, and also like, did we need a score, or was there something that we could do that, not saying that, I mean, Kausar put in a lot of work to get all of those tracks. So it's not that it was easier, and but it was a different process that I think was better and easier for this film, given our restraints and our kind of resources. So we had more resources, like because we had Kausar, to reach out to artists, and it's something she loves and she's good at, and they said yes to her, to giving us all of this wonderful music in kind. And so it's like, well, what makes sense? Like, why would we have all of these songs instead of a score? And given the location of the film, the fact that, we're in a house the whole time in this one night, in this one moment, it made sense that this music was basically diegetic. So it's basically in the house happening on a speaker somewhere. And that was kind of the justification for why it exists, when it changes, how it comes in. And, we play with that a couple times, where it goes from being like at the top, when you get to watch the film, or, at the top, it's more like score, but then it turns diegetic. So we play with that transition a few times. But that was like a really fun part of making sense of music for this movie. And I think music is really important to your movie and your mood and your tone, and especially with a comedy. And I think that just really enhanced the tone and helped set the tone for us in a way that, I don't know, I'm sure score could, but I think this was exactly what it had to be.
So good. That is a very educational piece for all of our filmmakers, what you just heard right there, because licensing music and getting a composer, I'm dealing with this right now as I'm in post with my feature. I've got both, and you're waiting on people to deliver things, and everyone's got stuff, and it's so challenging. But if you can think creatively with your limitations, that's beautiful. And diegetic means music that is heard by the characters in the film. So the fact that you're going, okay, this is the soundtrack, and then it comes through, the phone or the earpods. It's so great. So well done. So we just put that in the chat, the Spotify playlist, and so good. Well, where can people find this movie? Obviously, you have your website and your Instagram. Where can people watch this?
Yeah, so we're currently, TIFF was our world premiere, and since then we've kind of just been on the festival circuit. So so if you stay on top of our Instagram, which is the SYED Family Christmas Eve, I think that's it. Maybe we'll pop it in. It's a lot of words. We'll pop it in. That or our website, SYED Family Movie. We keep updated on our festival premieres.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
So please, follow them on their Insta. You'll see it on the screen. It'll be in the show notes if you're listening on the audio replay. And before we end our show, we got to talk about what you're doing now, because you both have some amazing things going on. I told Kausar that my daughter is a huge fan of her animated show that's in its 4th season. Is that right?
Yes, 4th season just launched. Yeah.
What? So cool. So talk about that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's called Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. It's a extension of that whole Jurassic World canon, but it's an animated show of 6 kids who go to a camp in Jurassic World and then get stranded, which not a good idea to have a camp there, but you know what? That's the basis for all the Jurassic stuff. Yeah, and it's just I really love it. I truly enjoy it and love it because I feel like it's great for people of all ages. The dinosaurs are amazing. The animation is beautiful, and the characters are all super beloved. So yeah, I would encourage folks to check that out.
My daughter commented on how cool it is that we got the changes in the animation. The artists are doing such a great job to show like even the roots of the girl's hair, that are changing. So it's a really, really cool piece of animation. And you've also got a show on the CW currently as well. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's the 4400.
Hey, Tony, we still got that sound playing in the back.
Oh my gosh. There you go.
I just want Kausar to always have the soundtrack of a dinosaur.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I feel, I mean, it's both scary, but also exciting, but also
some adrenaline.
It elevated the storytelling.
Did it elevate? I was talking over that. Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh. 4400. No sound effects on this one.
Yeah, just it's a reboot 2006 4400 show, and they center around mainly BIPOC and queer characters. So I'm so happy to be a part of that. I kind of play like this queer Muslim hacker, which is so funny because I'm really bad at technology. And also in Jurassic World, I play a really athletic, athletic. She's a world-class athlete one, and your girl can't do a push-up. So
acting, everybody.
Acting.
Okay, I'm gonna say this here. Here's what I want to manifest. Kausar, let's get you all Kumail Nanjiani, get you doing those. Let's get you that into that Marvel universe. You'll be the brown Tomb Raider. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but let's put it out. And
she put it out there.
That it's a movie that you direct.
I will direct you in it. I will be I know what to do with those newfound. You are going to you're going to do push-ups. You're just going to lift things
right.
tear things open with your teeth. Lots is going to happen. I will.
That could also happen in the feature version of the Christmas family, the family of Christmas game night, couldn't it? I mean, come on. Can we see that?
Tony pitching ideas.
Come on. All right. Fahzia, what do you have? What's coming up for you?
Actually what's super exciting is we have Kausar and I worked on another short with Freeform and 20th Digital Studio. It releases on their Twitter account 25 days. It's 25 days of Christmas. It's at 25 days on Twitter on the 17th at 8 a.m. So that's a really fun, short South Asian family Christmas holiday comedy bite that Kausar also stars in, that we wrote together, that I directed. Same DP. We're super excited about it. Please watch and share.
Cool.
And then I'm, Kausar and I have a couple other projects in the works. I'm not a Lego yet, which is cool. Unlike Kausar, but it's fine. No big deal.
Are you a Lego too, Kausar? Oh my gosh.
Well, not the one who does the push-ups. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's fine. And then, one of the things that I'm excited about is my feature that we just closed funding in Canada on. It's called Me, My Mom, and Sharmila. And that's, we're kind of prepping to shoot that in 2022. Also, if you're in Los Angeles and you want to see one of my other short films on Saturday, it's going to be having a special screening curated by Black Star Film Festival out of Philadelphia, which is a really wonderful film festival. They're curating this special series of films at MoCA, at the Museum of Contemporary Art, at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday. And that's going to be super fun. I'll be there in person. We're doing a Q&A and a selection of screenings. I think it's free, and there's a DJ afterwards.
Yes.
That's awesome.
DJ in LA. Well, we'll definitely promote that on our social as well for you. We're super glad. So hang out with us. We're going to do our Brave Faves. Before we do that, we're going to have our movie critic back finally, Marcus Robinson, for his 2-minute movie review. Stand by. Marcus, welcome back. Marcus.
Hey, how are you guys?
Marcus, what?
I got new headphones, so I wanted to make sure you could hear me.
You got it.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, awesome. Okay, so instead of doing like my normal movie review, I'm gonna give 3 recommendations of smaller movies, smaller streaming movies, because I know some people are kind of still apprehensive about going to the theater, and my website isn't fully up to date yet, so this will give me an excuse to do that. So just real quick for 2 minutes. First one is called Violet. It stars Olivia Munn. She plays the head of a production company, and she has to deal with, abuse in the workplace, an abusive boss, a lot of self-doubt. But this is a movie written and directed by Justine Bateman, the Justine Bateman. And it is an actually fascinating look into a very intense form of anxiety, because throughout the movie, as she's interacting with people, there is this inner monologue that we hear that is actually the sound of a very abusive male telling her that she's not good enough, she doesn't know what she's doing, making her doubt every little movement. And also there's writing that appears on the screen every once in a while that will be another inner monologue that'll be like, I need help, I don't know what's happening here, why can't I stop, why am I not good enough, stuff like that. So if you have any kind of anxiety or like imposter syndrome, this is a must watch. It's on demand. There's also, I want to also give some love to Shiva Baby. It's on HBO Max. It's about a college-age woman who finds herself at a funeral with her family, her ex-girlfriend, and her sugar daddy, which she discovers that also has a newborn baby. And it's actually another anxiety movie. It is filmed in this zombie sort of way where, as she tries to prevent these worlds from colliding in this one room that she can't really leave, she's being bombarded with like passive aggressive conversations, people touching her stomach, telling her she's too skinny. The baby is crying in the background, and just random judgments from, normal family get-togethers. So those are my 2 big recommendations for things that are streaming. That one's on HBO Max. For smaller movies that are streaming that are probably going to be in like my top 10 at the end of the year. So yeah.
Right on. Thank you. Go check movies.
Did I fit my 2 minutes?
You did it. You're great, dude. You did
Okay.
it. You did it.
All right.
And if you want to follow more of Movie Marcus 1 on Instagram, Movies Marcus 1, you can check out all his stuff and his website. He's got some really great images and reviews on there. And hopefully we're going to have more of Marcus in the new year doing his 2-minute movie reviews. I love that you are also supporting indie filmmakers.
Yes,
Marcus,
for sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that. All right, cool. Well, stay tuned. We got our lightning round. This is how we'll end the show with our Brave Faves.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
All right, Christina, kick us off. What you got this week?
My brave fave is from one of my favorite holiday movies, The Nightmare Before Christmas by Tim Burton. And it is Sally's Song, but if you have not heard the version by Fiona Apple, rush over to Apple Music or YouTube and type in Sally's Song by Fiona Apple. I hope you love it. And that is my brave fave, as well as The Nightmare Before Christmas. I just have to put it out there. If you've never seen this movie during the holidays, bless yourself. Throw it on, make some apple cider. It's really, really awesome. That's my brave fave. And I'm going to throw it over to Tony.
All right, so I got to do the Christmas vibe since we had a Christmas film today for our feature, and that is called 8-Bit Christmas. It stars Neil Patrick Harris. It is so good because it takes place in Chicago, which is where I'm from, and it takes place in the 80s, which is when I grew up, and it's all about a kid's desire to get a Nintendo, and it's so good. It's so funny. It's great. It's got all these fun little laugh out loud kind of physical comedy moments, and I can't get enough. So 8-Bit Christmas on HBO Max. Kausar, what do you got?
I gotta say, if it's the favorite people, place, or things, I'm gonna shout out Faz's hair again, just because it needs additional love. Let's get a side profile. Let's get some front. Let us all know. Grace us with the good hair, that excellent salt and pepper look, complemented by the green glasses, as well as some black accessories of the ears. So thank you so much. You can buy it now for $5 $19.99.
What's your product? What's your product of choice in there?
The product is sometimes just dirt. You know what I'm saying? Just like a little bit of dirty dirt. Yeah, you gotta just. Yeah. You can't wash thick hair. You know, sometimes you just got to let it sit and get the dirty. That's free in some places. So I also like that. Also, other products I'm sure work too.
Good. Well, that's a good brave fave, Kausar. Thank you for sharing. Which, Fahzia, what do you got? What's your brave fave?
Well, my brave fave is actually Kausar Mohammed. I know we're so huge.
Love it.
My brave fave is Kausar Mohammed on the CW on the show 4400. If you haven't seen her in this show, you got to watch it. She's fantastic. And especially this episode that aired this week, you get a little queer action. You get a little.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right. I like it.
Kausar's character Soraya has a little, little sexy dance with someone on the show, and it's just, I mean, whatever.
Steamy. It's steamy.
Sexy dances. Sexy holiday dances. Okay. All right. Good. Awesome. All right. Finally, Marcus, you get to fave something else too, since you just gave us your reviews. But what you got? What do you want to fave?
Your guys' faves are much better than mine. I just got a new space heater, and I just want to give it a shout out because it's been saving my life right now. That's all.
It's cold. It's cold, everybody.
It's like California cold. It's not cold really, but it's like California cold.
It's cold enough.
It's relative. Yeah. Listen, I support that. I have the heater on right now.
So do I.
Thank you.
So do I. Full blast.
Thank you. There we go.
That's hilarious. I got my little space. I love it. This is great. Awesome. Well, stand by, everybody. We'll take a picture before we end up. But this has been so good. Thanks so much for watching. If you were on live or you're watching on the replay, check the chats below on YouTube and Facebook, and you can see all the things with all the Instagrams we just posted and all the links and all the things. All the film clips are all there for you. Please share it. Please follow these amazing creative people. Please support indie film. Please support queer women. Please support people of color. Please support all the amazing storytellers, the brave storytellers that are out there doing great things. And you can also support us, as we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We exist to elevate brave stories just like this. And Christina and myself are out here doing it. Every week we're here on Wednesdays. We encourage you to come back, join us. If you've got guests that we should be talking to and meeting, please send them our way. If you want to support us, especially at the end of the year, your support helps us do everything from insurance and rent to the gear that we have to making the films that we're creating. And you can do it right from your phone. You can go to just text the word Bravemaker to 44321. That's 44321. Text the word Bravemaker and you can give $25 or $2,500, whatever you want to give. And next week we have a documentary. What do we got, Christina? What's on the docket for next week?
We have the filmmakers from the documentary Not Going Quietly on the show. And Tony and I are going to be doing our 12 days of giveaway for filmmakers. So come back for that list. And I have to thank Kausar and the Faz for bringing this story to life. I'm going to be bringing my partner home for the holidays, introducing her to my sisters. And this is such a fresh story that we haven't seen before. And I'm inspired now, Kausar, to make a soundtrack for it. Because why not? It seems to elevate everything. So there we go. So tune back in next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Right on. Well, that's it, everybody. We love doing this work, and makers stay till the end of our little bumper, and we'll take a quick picture for more promotion. But take care. Brave stories change the world.
And you are the story. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word Bravemaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.